assure people that senseless acts of violence will not go unnoticed by our Father. The Lord will have his vengeance.
It feels like we're entering into murky waters here, do you know what I mean?
It's a dangerous path you're taking here, boys. This is Pixie Hardy. She won't just break you, she'll take a Kalashnikov to your heart.
These guns aren't going to shoot themselves.
Sorry, you can't go in there.
Why not?
Well, if you listen closely, there's a shootout going on.
Barnaby, Jeff in Las Vegas, hello.
Hey, Jeff in Las Vegas. Barnaby in London.
London, love London, one of my favorite cities. Haven't been there in a while though. I remember one time in 2008, I traveled there with my nephew to see Little Britain live at the Hammersmith.
Right.
We were such fans. Now, are you Irish or English?
I'm English with an Irish father.
Oh, okay. Because when I was in Ireland for 2 weeks, I saw a championship hurling match. Here's Tipperary.
That's fantastic. Hurling is a scary game.
It was, and we saw a championship game. I even brought a hurling stick back on the plane. Talk about difficulty with that, right? Trying to bring that thing through security. But go ahead, yeah.
Daryl, who plays, who's in the movie, Daryl McCormick, he played for Tipperary.
Did he really?
He's from Tipperary, and I can't, he was a serious player. I can't remember how far he got, but I know that when we were shooting the movie, he went off to the big final because he knew he knew some of the people in the team.
Well, they were talking about getting an interview with him, so maybe that'll happen, and I can show him my Tipperary shirt. I don't know.
He will be really impressed.
I mean, talk about the odds of that happening, right? Being a Tipperary fan, an American, right? Barnaby, I just love this film. It's just absolutely fantastic. I hope it's okay to compare it to Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. I kind of feel that.
Sure.
It has that English Irish gangster feel that I just love, and the timing. But at heart, Pixie is a heist road trip movie at heart, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's about a girl who, wants to avenge her mother's death and make some money so she can go and start a new life in San Francisco. And just things get a little complicated along the way.
She chooses to start her life over in the most expensive city in America. Yeah. No spoilers, but she needs a lot of money, right, to survive there. And the chemistry in your 3 stars, it really pops. So when did you know you had the right actors for these roles?
Well, it's a strange process casting because you don't know, and so you obviously we start with Pixie, and we were thrilled to get Olivia, and then once we had her, Daryl was someone I'd met in Dublin and was immediately taken by him, and he just seemed to fit the bill. And then it took us a while to get to Ben, and then you cast them, and then there was a moment where I had them all come and sit in a room. And you kind of, at that point, you're hoping for the best. But I'm very happy to say that I think maybe, when people are all drawn by the same material, that means that they're all there. Everyone's got in the room liking it, but they hit it off absolutely, straight away. And the other thing we did was we shot a lot of their scenes first. So for I can't remember, first 3 or 4 weeks of the movie, it was basically the 3 of them in the car. So they had a lot of time to get to know each other.
And only one Irishman in the crowd? I heard the others had to learn their accents?
Yeah. So they're both absolutely terrified of getting it right. And they work really, really hard on their accents. And they looked to Daryl for his approval, so that he held sway over them because waiting for his nod that they got it right.
And when I listened to Daryl's Irish accent, he reminded me of Frank McCourt, the author. That style.
Yeah.
And using the church as a front for drug smuggling, isn't that kind of blasphemous? Gangsters as priests?
Well, I mean, it's based. What happened was that we came across an article in the New York Times about a priest who had worked closely with the IRA, and after the peace, the Good Friday peace, had moved to New York and was involved in one of the big heists in New York City. And so I read that and was like, oh, wait a minute, this is, because what was interesting to us about Ireland was the idea that you have all these guys who were involved in the Troubles, who were trained gun runners and, all sorts of stuff. What are they going to do when the peace happens? They're sort of so we started off with the idea that they were gangsters who came from that, and then saying it was the cloth was taking it one step further.
Yeah, because the climax of the film is the shootout in the church. It was very John Woo, I thought.
Right. Although, I mean, you're talking to man, I'm not sure I've actually seen a John Woo movie, but I know what you mean.
Because he usually does those kind of shootouts in a church, with doves and flying everywhere. Alec Baldwin, what a classic performance. How did you get him to do this? His accent was a little, but it's Alec Baldwin, right?
Yeah, and also, I mean, to be fair to Alec, with everyone else, first of all, most of them are Irish, and the ones that aren't, but we're all so used to Alec that him being an accent is always going to be a surprise. But I think he did a great job. He's someone I've known for a while through through Lorne and through the sort of SNL connection, and he was the first person on the movie actually, because my son Preston, we were at a party and he was asking Preston what he was up to, and he told him about the movie, and he said, Preston said "deadly gangster priest," and Alec was like, "I'm in."
That's awesome. One of my all-time favorites, Cole Meany, who was in the greatest Irish film of all time, The Commitments. But for him to be a home chef drug lord, I mean, he did that balance of being a father and then a drug lord and a chef. I just thought that was so out of character for him. It was really funny.
Well, he was really the only person that it's really great when you're writing something and you have an actor in mind and you actually get that actor. I mean, Cole Meany was always that guy. And the great thing about him is he carries his threat in a very mild way. So you never question that if he had to get nasty, he could get nasty. So so he could then easily, you didn't have to spend a lot of time establishing that. And you just knew that the area that challenged him was like bringing up three kids that are always fighting with each other. And the idea that, he kind of fed up with being a gangster. What he really wants to do is follow Nigella Lawson, cookery shows.
Yes, he needs to get his chicken baked.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, out of this huge ensemble cast, the one that stuck out for me the most was this gentleman right here who played Mickey. He reminded me of a Irish Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
And he had little tics. He was drooling. He really, out of all the cast members, he really brought everything to every scene he was in. He just stole everything.
Yeah. And complete commitment. He's really actually a song and dance guy.
Is he really?
So he comes out of musicals, but I'd never come across him. And, we cast him. The casting agent said, "You got to meet this guy." And he was great. And it's like, because you believe him as being the psychopath straight away, all those things ground the story in such an important way.
I mean, he came across as so dangerous. I mean, when he has a gun in his face about to be killed and he's begging for his life and then just turns on a dime, you're like, wow, this guy he was brilliant. He was really brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, Barnaby, this has been an absolute cakewalk. Thank you so much. Hope I used
great to meet you.
And I'm going to come back to London soon. You got to come visit us in Las Vegas. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, it's a while since I've been to Vegas.
Oh, okay, great. Well, thanks so much again, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, take it easy.